Elevate every morning with Tommy John's Second Skin underwear. The luxurious support of Second Skin guarantees everything will go smoothly. With over 20 million pairs sold and thousands of 5-star reviews, guys love Tommy John. Plus, your most valuable assets are covered with Tommy John's best pair you'll ever wear or its free guarantee. Check out Tommy John's luxurious Second Skin limited edition colors at TommyJohn.com/Spotify. They're going fast. Hurry to TommyJohn.com/Spotify. See site for details.
Want flexibility? Take yoga. Want flexibility with your health insurance? Check out United Healthcare Insurance Plans. Underwritten by Golden Rule Insurance Company, they offer flexible, budget-friendly medical, dental, and vision coverage that may be right for you. More at UH1.com.
Hey guys, this is My League, and this is the My Taught You podcast. Today is May 2nd, 2016. It's been a while since I've spoken to you. We are just a few days shy of one of my favorite holidays of all time, Cinco de Mayo. I don't know how that became my favorite holiday, but I usually have a party. I am having one this week, so it's been crazy, but I'm really looking forward to it. I am back to do a 5-podcast business series for entrepreneurs, aspiring entrepreneurs, or even if you are entrepreneurial, if you will. I think that even if you have a career that you are succeeding at, it doesn't hurt to be entrepreneurial. Or if you just are what I like to call a side hustler. I think that I'm a side hustler. I have a main business that I do, which is Curlbox. And then on the side, I do My Taught You. So the first of the 5 podcasts is this one, and this one is titled Squad Goals. I took some time while I was away in Jamaica to put together a list of 10 people that are on my squad that are uncommon, that I thought that you would appreciate. And so I am here to record that today. This 5-podcast business series is brought to you by FreshBooks. This is the first time this podcast has been sponsored, and I'm really excited about it because I really do love FreshBooks. Let me tell you a little bit about them. Our sponsor, FreshBooks, makes really, really easy to use cloud accounting software that helps entrepreneurs deal with all the paperwork that we just don't have time to deal with. If you didn't know, when I first started out, I used FreshBooks to help me stay organized with all of my finances. And it really came in handy when it was time for me to move and to prove my income because I had no paycheck stubs at the time. So if you are an entrepreneur and you're looking to move, the software that they have is just like super amazing in how it works. You can format and send invoices with your pretty logo on them. They look super professional. One thing that I love is that you can also find out who opened the invoice. So I hate those dreaded calls of like, have you seen my invoice? This way you already know that they have or haven't. They also can help you make sure that you get paid on time with reminders like, hey, sent this invoice a week ago. What's up? You can also keep track of your receipts. So if you have some expenses for a client and you literally can just take a photo of it, they have an app now, which is so crazy, that'll help you keep up with all of that. And more than anything, it's going to help you stay organized for tax season, which I know is our favorite time of year. But I think that, when you're working in your business and sometimes you don't even realize how much you've made because you just keep collecting checks here and there. I loved being able to go on to FreshBooks and see exactly where I stood for the year, set some goals for the year. So I really do love it. What's super awesome about this is that they are offering all of my listeners a free 30-day trial. Okay. To claim it, all you have to do is go to freshbooks.com/mytaughtyou and enter My Taught You in the How Did You Hear About Us section, and you can check it out. And I really would love to know what you think about it, because I used it, I loved it, and I really just think it's cool. So now that we've got that out of the way, on to the show. This episode took me quite some time to kind of sketch out my notes because I really wanted to think about who are some of the people that you would find very helpful as you are either starting your journey, if you are in the middle, or if you kind of just need to like reset and refresh and think about who you have around you. I did record this podcast. This is the second time I'm doing it because I think that I I got a little worried. Sometimes I occasionally will read some of the, like, I want to know how I'm doing with you. And some people have said that they couldn't hear me, that I'm soft spoken. I think one of the things that I've realized I had to try was turning up the volume on the player. So if you have the iTunes player, not on your phone or not on your computer or in your car, but making sure you turn up the player. And that is that. So the first person that I have on my squad is a respected, proven naysayer. And I know you're probably thinking, I know she is not saying this because who needs naysayers, right? But notice I said respected and proven. And when I say proven, I mean this person has succeeded in something. They have succeeded in business. And when I think about who that person is to me, right now, I think about one of my closest friends, Ken, who I'm sure he wouldn't want me to say that he's a naysayer, but I think that he helps me understand the other or downside of everything, and so he helps me. I am one of those people who is just like I call ignorantly ambitious. Like, I think there's nothing I can't do. I get excited about everything. I get an idea and I'm ready to jump off the cliff right away. Oh my God, this is so amazing. Let's print it up. Let's run it. Let's go. And then I'm like, wait a minute. Let me run this by someone who can poke a ton of holes in this, And so I think that it's important to have someone who can, show you the other side of things, or who can challenge you. And then understanding that, just because someone is able to bring up something that you may not be comfortable with or that you may not be a fan of, understanding that this is going to help you when you hit those rough patches in hard times, and you will be prepared. So when I was first starting out with Curlbox, Ken told me sort of all the things that I could expect to go wrong. And I remember just like rolling my eyes like, oh my God, he is not supporting me. But when I tell you that to this day, the things that he told me to look out for are the things that were the biggest issues that we had. And I felt prepared for them. I was happy to have him around to not just, clap every time I say something, or to be excited about every single thing I come up with. And I wrote down right here, because someone shares an opinion that you would classify as negative doesn't make them a negative person. You want to keep people around you that will help keep your visions healthy and well-rounded. I'll say that again because I really do love that sentence. You want to keep people around you that will help you keep your visions healthy and well-rounded. And so that is why I have my respected, proven, quote unquote, naysayer on my side, somebody to sort of show me the other side of all my fab ideas. Now, the second person that I have on this list is a respected and proven optimist, someone that knows the challenges and can help you present 3 to 5 ways around them. So I have someone like that, and that is my friend Brian, who happens to be one of Ken's very good friends. I was introduced to Brian through Ken, and Brian is that person that I go to when I have some serious challenges and I want to go to someone who I feel like is positive and can come up with solutions to just about everything. He is that person. He has the skills to give me viable options and kind of helps me approach these hurdles. So I think you need to have that person in your life. And I like, what I love most about him is that he'll say to me, if he can't figure it out right then and there, I love how sort of optimistic he is about figuring it out and getting back to me. And he's just really, really great about that. And I think that I like having the balance, because you want to have as many respected viewpoints as you can, right? I mean, there are going to be times when you know what's right in your heart, and you simply need to go with your gut. And it doesn't matter if what the naysayer says, and it doesn't matter what the optimist says. You know that you need to do this. I have reached a couple points in my career where that happened, where people, either of those people were making suggestions of how they felt like I should be, or what they felt like I should say, or sometimes how I should maybe limit myself. And I was just like, you know what? I do understand it and I do respect it, but I'm going to go with this and I'm going to try it on for size. And my gut pretty much hasn't failed me. And so if this is something, whatever that decision is that you have, if your gut check is saying, we got this, then you don't need to rely on either of those. You just go with your gut and see what happens. The third person on my squad is an assistant. I don't know where you may be in your business, but I'm going to give you a couple of things to consider, on whether or not you may need an assistant. If you are having trouble keeping track of meetings, work deadlines, special details, birthdays, super important things. If you are just literally dropping the ball, it's time for an assistant. If you cannot take on new business, new projects, if you can't dive into the new space professionally because you're just so weighed down and busy, you need an assistant. If you're too busy to be creative or think about your business in a long-term way or sense, you need an assistant. I'm pretty sure I've shared this, but I started out as an assistant. I would say that I've probably assisted 4 professionals over the course of my career. So I understand, sort of why one may need an assistant. And I also understand what they do because I've done it. And I want to take some time to tell you what they do. So, okay, this is my little break because I don't know, when I do these podcasts, I just get so thirsty. And I know that some people don't like that I take a little water break, but I need it. So 1 second. What does an assistant do? An assistant keeps your life together. You won't be missing out on personal stuff or professional stuff because that person is there to help you balance it all. What does my assistant do? My assistant, I think, like, their top job, and I have a full-on job description, but the top job is to basically manage my calendar. I live my life very much to the calendar, to the minute, to the hour, to the day, because I just like knowing what my month looks like. I like knowing what my week looks like and what my day looks like. And I have 3 people on my team, 4 if you include myself, who have access to this calendar. I use Google Calendar, and I kind of like sync it to my iCal. And on any given day, anybody on my team can go online, or if they have it synced to their phone, and see what I'm doing every day. I love that because it helps them understand. I like for them to know that I am a team player, but it also, if they need to talk to me, they can schedule time. If they want to have me help them on something and they need to meet for me to talk to somebody that they're working with, they can schedule some time for me to talk to that person. And I sort of have this thing of like, you can pretty much add whatever you want to add to my calendar between the hours of 9 and 6 o'clock, and I will do it, And so I like having someone who keeps the calendar, who can do light errands. There are times when, so I bought the new house, and they weren't offering, because I bought a new house in a new neighborhood, there was like no cable. So finally I found out that Comcast was in the area, and I don't know if you guys have Comcast, but Comcast was like, yeah, sure, we can get you set up in 5 weeks. I was like, 5 weeks? So I had to get a hotspot. But long story short, Comcast was like, called, and we're like, we're 15 minutes away to set it up. And if you can't do it today, then you have to schedule another appointment. And I was just like, oh my goodness. Having an assistant means that I don't have to miss these kinds of things, because they can come over, let Comcast in, make sure that things get handled so that I can stick with my schedule. I don't like getting thrown off. So those are some of the things that they do. They can take notes while you're on call. So sometimes, because of my schedule, I'll take calls in the car. And when I take calls in the car, I can't, I have the Bluetooth in the car, so I can, have both hands on the wheel and I can talk through the car, but I can't necessarily take notes. Or sometimes I'll be on the call and I will say, okay, you know what? I'll send you this. I'll send you this form. I'll send you that form. I'll send you that presentation. When you have an assistant, that person can literally fire those things off while you're still in the car. So they can be on the call with you and they can just help you handle things so that you can be hands-free and keep it moving. They should also be able to help you with like a lot of your business stuff, contracts and stuff like that. Now, I know that some people think, if I have somebody around and they are seeing everything that I do, what if they steal from me and what if they do whatever? I'm not saying that can't happen, but that can't be what's stopping you or what's drowning you. You have the person sign a non-disclosure agreement. You can go online and you can print one that basically says, anything that you see or hear while you're working for me, if you share that, you can be in trouble. And then you can have them sign a non-compete, meaning you are going to learn how I do things. And if you go and try to start the exact same thing, you're also going to get clipped. So just make sure that you cover your bases so that you can have the, mental space to go ahead and handle that. I'm able to be a lot more productive by having an assistant. And if you're wondering, how can I afford this? Start slow. Right now, I have a very full-time assistant with like full-time salary and that whole deal. But when I first started out, I had an assistant virtually working 2 hours a day, 5 days a week. And we started at $100 a week. So she'd work 2 mornings a week virtually. She'd check in. She'd give me a call. I'd go over sort of what my goals for the week were, who I wanted to follow up with, what I wanted to happen. And she just made sure that she spent that time circling back with people, keeping me ordered and organized. And it was the best money that I've ever spent. That person still works for me to this day. And definitely we've far exceeded the, $100 a week. She's not my assistant, if you will, but just kind of a more higher ranking person who really sort of understands me, understands how I work, but more than anything, super understands the business. And she still works virtually, and not exactly sure how I'd survive without her because she's just that good. The fourth person that I feel like you need on your squad is a certified accountant. You need this. Don't skimp on this. I think if I could give you some tips about something that I have found helpful is to find an accountant that is also an entrepreneur. I just have found by having an accountant that owns their own business, they fully understand what I'm going through at all times and is able to help me plan, able to help me understand some things. And my accountant has been in business for himself, for I would say probably over 20 years, if I had to guess. I'm sure it's probably more than that, but someone who has gone through a lot of the things that I've been experiencing for the first time. I also think that you should be referred to your accountant. I think that having someone that can refer you to someone, you just want to make sure that this person does the kind of work that other people trust. I was referred to my accountant. I actually met with my accountant the first time, and I remember meeting with him, and we sat down, and he was kind of like being really brief and short with me, and was like, I'm going to need your bank login info. And I remember being like, you know what, sir, you can fall back. I'll find someone else. But then he called me back, let's just say a month later, and was like, whatever happened to you? And I was like, when you just kind of asking me for this, it didn't make me feel comfortable. And he was like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Explaining to me that it was common practice for an accountant he wanted to kind of get inside and see my spending habits and to see how the business was going through the banking. And there's a way, and I didn't know this at the time, but we have it now, that he can log in to my online banking as just a sort of viewer, if you will. They call it something, I forgot, but he has his own login. He can go in and he can pretty much see what I'm doing at all times, which has been very helpful because there were times, I remember like maybe 3 years ago, he scheduled a meeting with me and he was like, hey, I want to come to your office. I want to talk to you about something. And I'm like, you want to come to my office? Because I typically always go to his. And he kind of just like sat me down and was like, I want to show you your spending. Like, I want you to really see what you're doing. And it was at that point that I got like a huge wake up call, and I got the wake up call super early. And I was just glad that like he was able to like show me this, sit me down, and was just like, this is what you spent that can't be accounted for. And I was just like, oh my God. And after that, he had me open up another account where that had a daily spending limit on it. And that's what I have been using for the past 3 years, maybe 3.5 years now. But like, he was like, you're going to open a new account. You're going to use this account. This account has a daily spending limit. And that is all you are to spend, like, for your personal life, period. And that helped me with a budget. And so that's why I say, sit down with someone who can go over your goals for you, but isn't afraid to tell you when you may be going too far. That's what you need, is someone who's going to help you pump the brakes, because a lot of the times we don't even really know. And so that person should be able to say what you should be paying yourself, how much goes back into the company. How do you set a budget for your business? How do you set a budget for yourself? Which is what my accountant helped me do. When is it time for me to buy a home? When is it time for me to buy my office space versus rent it? What kinds of tax credits do you think I should pursue? These are the things that you should do. I say, if depending on where you are in your business, if you can sit down with your accountant twice a year, great. Quarterly is even better. I do about every 6 weeks, just to kind of say, this is where I am with my savings. And like, I even had my accountant, I showed him sort of where I was with my savings, and he was just like, this money isn't going to yield anything. Let me introduce you to Morgan Stanley so your money can work harder for you. These are all the kinds of things that you want for your accountant to be able to do. If your accountant doesn't do those kinds of things, either ask for those things or find, someone who is going to kind of dig deeper into your business and help you kind of make sure you're making the right kinds of financial decisions. The fifth person on the squad is also a not so fun person, but definitely needed, is an insurance agent. A lot of people don't really think about this as they're doing businesses, but you need general liability insurance for your business. What is general liability insurance? General liability insurance protects your business from another person or business's claims of bodily injury, associated medical costs, and damage to property. So if you have a business and in some way, if anybody can get hurt or anyone can be offended, and I recently learned about this when I sort of re-upped all of my insurance just a couple months ago, that like, if you're online and you're telling, all these people who are like giving out all this advice, hashtag me included, if somebody takes it and feels like you led them wrong, you could be in trouble, and you just want to make sure that you've covered your bases on it. It's not a ton, but you want to be covered. And always make sure that you have everything up to speed and in place. That's what I just did recently, making sure that that the addresses that you have down are correct and covering the right things, that, you've constantly, as you update people, you update projects, that you keep the insurance updated. If you have employees working for you, or traveling on your behalf, that you have that kind of insurance coverage. You just want to make sure that you're shored up. So I have sort of, home insurance, business insurance, car insurance, health insurance, the dental, all that stuff. Just making sure that I'm just shored up on that, because you don't like, I think the life insurance, I actually have life insurance, and the life insurance guy called me and was just kind of like, the new person, he was just like, you may not necessarily need it if you have if you, depending on what you want to do with the business when you're gone. And I do have, just about 2 weeks ago, I did my will and I did my living trust. All very scary. I don't know if you've done that before, but I think that like social media, if it's done nothing else, it's made me, you start looking at, it's like death has become, not that I didn't think it was real before, but it like the death has, like, it's like, it can and will happen, and to not prepare is just such an ill thing to do. And I think because before you would hear about, oh, did you hear about so-and-so died? But now when people start like posting all these pictures on Facebook and you're like, oh my God, they were just with that person. That just kind of started making me be like, you know what? You need to cover your tracks. You need to get it together. And so, that was all that was done. And that wasn't with an insurance agent. That was with an attorney. But, that just kind of tacked onto the back of that is just making sure that I had everything ready to go, because, and I didn't realize this when I talked to the attorney, if you have a business and you are unmarried like I am, if you're married, then the government automatically gives it to your spouse. But if you are not, then they start like looking out to family members, and it's like, okay, this is what the government's going to do with this if you don't explicitly say what you want done. And then there's also a page that I need to fill out that talks about like your last wishes, like your true last wishes. And do you want to be buried or do you want to be cremated? Just all these things that I think would like comfort people a little bit in your absence. Like nobody wants to see you go, but just to just make sure you have your ducks in a row and you handled your business. So that was a little bonus. The sixth person on my squad is a housekeeper. I don't enjoy housework at all. Never have and likely never will. I don't like it. I am that girl that's like, I love putting things in the washing machine, but don't like taking things out of the dryer or folding them up. Like I'll do all the steps. I like separating. I like washing. I'll even move it to the dryer. But after that, girl, you lost me. Same thing. I don't like taking out trash. I don't think this makes me a bad person. I don't even think it makes me a diva. I think it is me recognizing my strengths and recognizing my weaknesses. If you don't enjoy housework like I don't put the pressure on yourself to try to clean and do laundry and be every woman. Like you don't have to do it. And I think that you'd be surprised at how reasonable it is to get someone to do it. And I have found that like I've had housekeepers in the past. One of my old housekeepers, Mary. Hey, Mary, hope you're out there somewhere. Mary really loved what she did. Like you could see that it was just like the joy and just kind of the like, it was her jam. She put her music on and just kind of like cleaning seemed cathartic, and like how she cared for the home and cared for you. Like it was her way of loving on others. Like, she liked to do things that made people feel, special in their home. And so there are plenty of people that are out there that do that and that'll feel that way, that will help you. And maybe it's not, I do the housekeeping weekly, but maybe it's a monthly thing for you, just to kind of make sure that you've got everything done. And maybe if you like cleaning up but you don't like laundry, schedule a laundry service, find one that's reasonable and just take the work out of this for you. And I'm going to tell you why. If you're like me and it takes you a full day, like it takes me a full day to clean up like a section of my house, not even the whole thing, just a section. And that is just like not the best use of my time, right? That is just such time wasted. So if I really just clean the house like I wanted to, it would take me probably 2 to 3 days to get it clean the way I like it, versus I have the new people that I've been using is just like 2 women. They come in and they bust it down from top to bottom. I think they get it done in like 5 hours. And I'm just like, this is the best money spent. So get yourself a housekeeper and don't put the pressure on you. Delegate inside the house as well as outside the house. 7th person on my squad, who I'm going to go see in about an hour, is a licensed psychotherapist. Just want to be clear, my girlfriend and I were talking about this in Jamaica. This person is not, a quote unquote online business coach. This is a person who is truly licensed to help you. I I think I equate it to, I like having her, and I think about it as like exercise. Like, you have to, even if you're happy with, your health and your body, you have to keep working out to sort of maintain that, right? I feel the same way about it. I did all this sort of research as I was working on this, because I told you, like, I put these notes, I worked on these notes for a while, and I found this study by Failed Thoughts about, I think they surveyed, like, let's just say 2,400 entrepreneurs. And they were just kind of like, entrepreneurs are a unique bunch. Some of the things that they, and when I say they, I mean we, I mean us, if you are here with me, can have is a large ego, low self-esteem when no one is looking. We can work some really crazy hours. We are constantly, or can be constantly, running from fear. I feel very nervous today. And that's all I've really been able to think about. And I'm glad that I have a session today, because I'm just like, I feel so nervous. I started talking about January 2017 and got nervous, like freaked out, because I feel like I'm always running towards, running for, running over. I don't know. But that's something that I deal with. And the feeling of like the nervousness that I feel is a real feeling. And I will be able to talk about that today and have a professional sort of help me through this, so that I do not become paralyzed, or I do not turn it up even further. Because something else that I learned that I do is that I overfunction. And so you can Google that. It's a real thing. I do a lot of overfunctioning, and really just trying to work on that. And so that is something that we struggle with. We can be hard to live with at times. You know what I mean? It's just like when you want to get up early, when you want to go this, when you want to be like, I need to answer my phone. I need to be on my phone. I need to be on my computer all the time. Sometimes we have unrealistic expectations. I struggle with that as well. I want everything to be a blowout. Like, if it's not a blowout, I feel like I failed. And I know that's stupid, and I shouldn't think that way, but it's kind of how I feel. I should not use the S word. I'm so sorry, but I know that I shouldn't do that. It's just like, if something doesn't like blow up and get like this grand reaction, I feel, not so great. And it's just like, stop it. You tried, And so also we tend to be, and this is the thing that's really tough. And this is the thing that I really love working with my psychotherapist about, is that we tend to be so judgmental of ourselves. I probably just judged myself 3 to 5 times in the last 5 minutes, but that's okay, because we talking about this. That's okay. But like, because we tend to judge ourselves so harshly, we tend to judge others just as harshly, if not a bit more. And that's something that you/I/us/us have to work on, is that like, everybody's not going to be like us. Everybody doesn't have the desire to like do the things that we do, and learning to like live with people that aren't so aggressive and so ambitious, and so, people just aren't wired that way. And so that's like, I have worked over the last couple of years to try to understand people where they are, and figure out our relationship and how we are going to work together based on, maybe their work style or their ambition. And like, I don't know, it's tough. I'm like, how can you not want this? How can you not want more for yourself? And it's like, some people don't want that. Like, fall back, chill. So, if you feel that you struggle with any of those things that I just mentioned, a licensed psychotherapist will help you. Sometimes the drive to succeed and even the success can be isolating. And I don't know if, we isolate ourselves. I don't know if people isolate us, but I do know, just had a conversation like literally an hour ago about how there was a time when if I came around or somebody wanted to talk to me, people for the most part had no ulterior motives. Like, if people were kicking it with me, I knew that they were kicking it with me because they thought I was cool. They thought I was fun. They wanted to have a good time. I now, it's this thing of like, can you post this to your Instagram? Can you talk about this? Can you do that? And it's just like, it's a very isolating space, because you're just like, you used to be able to just look at people and the innocence of it all. And now it's like to not be able to just sort of be naive about things anymore, and I have found therapy to be helpful in just kind of like working my way through the isolation of that, and sort of the naivete that you just don't get to have anymore. Also, like my girlfriend said on the trip, you don't have to keep wearing your friends out about certain things that they may not care about, that they may not understand. And, as an entrepreneur, I understand like this is all we talk about. We love to talk about this. We love to talk about ourselves. We love to talk about our wins, because there was a time when we probably thought they were impossible. And so if you have entrepreneur friends in your life, don't beat them up. It's just like, to have succeeded in a world where most people tell you how X amount of businesses and however don't survive, we're just happy to be surviving every day. I think they also will help you figure out what your triggers are. And if you have a block, like if you are listening to this and you have not become who you want to be, or haven't gotten where you want to go, and you're like, I just can't figure out why. If you're doing everything right professionally, then maybe your psychotherapist can be like, this is the block. This is the thing that's holding you up. So, can never talk about that enough. But that's the 7th person on my squad. 8th person on my squad is a dope graphic designer. I just texted with mine not too long ago. You want somebody that fits your vision. I have found that a lot of people have hired the graphic designer that I use because they are thinking like, if I just get someone to design my stuff the way hers looks, then I'll be successful. That's not really how it works. The way that I work with the graphic designer is that instead of clipping out other logos or other things that I like, I will make a collage with the feeling that I want to evoke with the logo or with the look and feel. Like, so I will do a sort of mood board with, it may be a city, it may be a food, it may be a purse, it may be a shoe, it may be an expression. It's like, what do you want people to feel when they see this? Maybe it's feminine. So maybe the mood board is very soft. And maybe you do a couple of mood boards, but I think that you don't necessarily have to copy a look. You want someone that you can send this inspiration to that will create your look for you. So that is my suggestion on that. And if you get a good one, love on them, because it's hard to find good ones. 9th person on the squad is a dope copywriter. There is a such thing of being too close to a topic. I don't know what it is about me. Like, I cannot, if you ask me to write something either about myself or about one of the businesses via newsletter or something like that, I just can't do it. It takes me so long because I start overthinking it. Oh, does this sound like this? Does this feel too whatever? And if you have somebody who does this for a living, they can pretty much just like write it, get it done, boom, moving on. I have that for the blog writer, the person who writes the blogs, the Instabox. If you follow Curlbox on Instagram, someone who kind of keeps up with the time and the trends and just stays on top of that. The newsletters that are sent on our behalf, like there is some professional doing these things, because it would take me, sort of like the housekeeping, just would take me a very long time to be okay with what I'm sending. So I think that a copywriter is awesome. The 10th person on the squad, #squad goals, is either a trainer or a workout partner. And you should know that the most successful people know they always need to push themselves, not just mentally, but physically. And I do exercise. I don't like it as much as most people probably think I do, but I do like to go and do it often as a discipline exercise to myself, because when you get into business, even if you bleed and, sweat and cry this business, there are going to be things that you just don't like doing. There are going to be things that you have no interest in, and you'd prefer to do without, but you can't. So when I get up in the morning and I put my clothes on, rolling my eyes, and I eat my little breakfast and I get in the car and I get to the gym and I start up that treadmill, I'm just like, I did it. Just despite my complete disdain, I did it. And so there's also, helps you conquer personal fears. You set high goals for yourself. You break the barriers. You can also do it in the gym. I started to try to do some research, and you can easily do this. There are tons and tons and tons of successful people that exercise. I would say, like, I go out on a limb and say most successful, business people exercise. Anna Wintour of Vogue plays a 5:45 a.m. game of tennis every morning before her blowout, before getting in the car and heading to work. She says this routine keeps her disciplined and moving forward. Your president, Barack Obama, works out 45 minutes 6 days a week, despite not being a morning person. I know I don't have to tell you this, but exercise improves your energy. So I do a lot of traveling, a lot of sitting on planes, a lot of ping ponging back and forth, and the exercise keeps me healthy. I don't really get sick that often because I think of the exercise. It also is an incentive to eat healthy. When you've worked out, you're like, you know what, I'm going to have a salad for lunch, or I'm going to eat these nuts instead. So exercise is great for that. Your physical appearance and your confidence, that goes without saying, and less stress and anxiety. So I think that for how I'm feeling today, I told you I was feeling pretty nervous. I know that I'm going to go sit on the couch in a little bit. And then if I just get a good run on the treadmill, when I get back home tonight, I know that that'll help me feel better and help me sleep better and help me shake this anxiety off. Also writing things down. For those of you who have the My Taught You journal, you can still get the journals on mytaughtyou.com. That helps me with my anxiety, is exercise and kind of just like writing things down so that I can see them. So that is it for me. I hope that you guys enjoy that podcast. Shoot me some questions to my Ask FM. If you have any more questions that you want to ask me, it's ask.fm/myleekteal. The website is mytaughtyou.com. And I just want to thank FreshBooks again for hooking me up and hooking you up with our deal. You guys have a good day.